So today I will be making Dutch oven bread using my outdoor fire pit. Stay tuned for more. So as you saw, got a big roaring fire going, trying to get large embers, really good ember bed, coal bed, so we can use that to bake my bread that I am making today. It's the first time in a very long time that I've ever used a Dutch oven for baking purposes, so we're going to see how well this goes. I only have one shot at it because I only have one package of yeast today, unless I go collect natural yeast, which would be like juniper berries, which have natural yeast on them. So let me show you what I've got going so far so you guys can follow along or write this down, and then I will give you guys the recipe at the end. So I've got, well, it says over a cup and a half, but when you start out, you want a cup and a half of warm water. Something that you would, a little too warm for a bath, but not really super hot because you don't want to kill the yeast, and super hot water will kill your yeast. My typical recipe calls for honey, 2 teaspoons of honey, but I'm using natural sugar instead, and then 1 package of yeast. You're going to let this sit, stir it all together, and let it sit for about 5 to 10 minutes or until it's really frothy. So in a separate bowl, you're going to need 2.5 cups of flour, a teaspoon and a half of salt, and 2 tablespoons of olive oil. We're using vegetable oil because I'm out of olive oil, so hopefully it turns out just as well. Once you got this blended and your frothy yeast water is ready to go, you're going to mix it in together. So as you are mixing all your ingredients together, you're going to want to add about 1/4 cup of flour at a time, really slowly until you get a smooth, consistent dough that's not going to stick to your glass. Once you get to that level, it takes probably another like cup and a half for me to get to that point. Depends, I guess, if you use bread flour or all-purpose. But once you get to that point, you're going to knead for 5 minutes and then cover and let it rise for 30 minutes. And then we'll come back. So after 30 minutes, you're going to knead again. Form it into a nice ball. Place it inside your Dutch oven or a cast iron skillet with lid and cover. Set for 30 minutes. You're going to want to make sure if you're using an oven, your oven is preheated to 400 degrees. On the rack is set at the lowest setting. And if you're doing it on a open pit fire like we are, make sure you've got some good embers going by this point, because in 30 minutes you're ready to put it on the fire. If you're going to be baking this, you'll need to bake it for anywhere between 12 to 20 minutes. Just keep an eye out on the crust. It'll be a telltale sign. I check it after about 12 minutes to see. If you're doing it over on the fire pit, then you're going to want to check it in about 15. It's going to take a little bit longer to cook, and you're probably going to be close to the 20-minute mark for it to be baked completely. So hang on, we'll show you guys the results. So in case you guys are wondering what I meant by a good bed of coals, let me show you guys this.
You can see those big giant chunks of embers. That is a good bed of coals right there. And we're approximately 20 minutes away from, well, putting the bread on the fire. It's going to be glorious. Stay tuned.
Side note, make sure you guys score your bread. And we are ready to rock and roll. Woohoo! Going on the fire. You might be able to put some of the logs on top of it. This should be fun. All right. Woohoo! now we wait.
About 30 minutes later,
20
with
minutes.
your heat about 200, 250 degrees on an open fire, you will have
Yep,
wonderful
well, it's supposed to be like
smelling
400
bread.
degrees.
Enjoy with some butter.
So.
And you guys have a wonderful day. This is Kim with Keep Dreaming Reads here at Wattle Fence Farm. Stay tuned for more, guys.
Thank you.